Hi, it's Jerry. We're in a series of how to improve communication within your marriage. Today is tip number 4. Schedule time for quality conversation. We live in a busy culture where it seems like we're always running and doing something or going somewhere or taking the kids somewhere or going to work or coming home from work or going to a work function, etc. Now, I will admit COVID has slowed us all down a little bit, but I'm curious how many couples have really taken advantage of the change in our culture. What you need to do is to make time for quality conversation. So, what do I mean by that? Quality conversation is conversation that you set aside and say, hey, let's talk for a few minutes. You know what? You're not holding your phone, you're not talking while doing this. You're not talking while watching the TV. You're not talking while doing a lot of other things. You're just talking and you're listening and you're responding and you're reacting. It's amazing the value to a relationship that just a little quality conversation can make, but it takes time, it takes effort. Now, if you have young kids, this takes a special effort. When we had young kids, we would set aside time each day on a Monday afternoon when I came home from work. You know, we called it our Martini Mondays. And essentially what that was for about 40 minutes. After I got home from work on Monday and we got the kids settled and, talked to them a few minutes, we would take 40 minutes just to sit on the front porch. It might be a glass of iced tea. It might be a martini, whatever it was. The point is we set aside a little bit of time for just the two of us to talk. Mondays were a day that typically everybody hated. And what we found is that Monday became our favorite day of the week. And you know what? We typically wouldn't talk about the kids. We'd talk about ourselves. We'd talk about each other. We would talk about things that might not get talked about otherwise. It seems you'll always make conversation for schedules. You'll make conversations for obligations and commitments. But a lot of times you don't just make conversation for the two of you to talk about the two of you. It takes effort. And yeah, when our kids were little and we would set this time aside, of course, at first they would come up and want our attention. And we got to the point where we'd say, listen, this is mommy and daddy time. You need to go in the house unless something's seriously wrong. Please just give us that. And when we're done in a few minutes, we will be back in to play with you, talk to you, make you supper, whatever else is needed, right? But it did a couple of things. It helped them to respect our relationship, our marriage, and the priority that had in the overall family structure, but it also allowed us the time that was so needed. I would encourage you, maybe every day, just set aside a few minutes. It might be when you first get home from work, before you leave for work, before you go to sleep at night, whatever it is. Schedule a little bit of time each day, and then schedule a block of time each week, like we did on Mondays. Find the time that works for you. And then periodically try to get away for a night, for a weekend or something. And during that time, make sure that you're having conversations too. And again, those daily conversations are not going to be about big, important, things probably, but they're going to be a quick catch up. Those weekly things can be about things that are more important and a little bit longer reaching. But those, whatever, quarterly or however often you can get away for some time, that's where you can really talk about dreams and visions and the direction and future of your relationship. This isn't going to happen if you don't make an effort at it. Schedule some time, carve it out of your schedules, put the phones down, turn the TVs off, and have some quality conversation. You'll be amazed at what that does for you. So that is tip number 4. Schedule and create time for quality conversation.